enough.
I did get that on camera.
Alright, so we compression test the motor. Now we need to fire the motor to make sure it actually runs and whatnot. So really, you only need two things, because we already have the battery hooked up to the starter. Need to supply 12 volts to our distributor on the battery side and put some fuel in it. So I got this handy dandy little wire here that I made. Clip on to here. Hopefully. Shove this in to the terminal, and that's our on and off switch, essentially. And dump some fuel on it. I don't know if this is fuel in here, I just found it on the shelf, so hopefully it is.
I'm sorry, what else could it be?
You know that time it was cold and I really had to pee? I didn't go
No.
outside.
If it starts off of that, I got questions.
Drank really heavily the night before. Forgot, I did find some exhaust pipe. Let's go there. Needs back pressure. Try her again.
Runs.
Not bad after sitting for 3 years. This video is going to be a little different. I definitely want to get the limo in here, and you're going to see at the end of this we got a very good plan set up for that. But a couple other things have been going on. It's been a crazy week. We put a new MSD setup on my Monte Carlo because I've been fighting an issue with the old distributor and having it hit a limiter, and I could never get the limiter adjusted. So we finally bit the bullet, put an MSD on it. Literally the car ran the best it's ever ran for 24 hours. I could not stop driving the thing. I was having so much fun with it. Until I pulled up to a stop sign in town and the car just backfired and died on me. Couldn't figure it out. Finally, pulled the distributor out because it was clearly a timing issue. And I ended up putting another new MSD on it just because I thought the box went bad for whatever reason, but that wasn't the case. It was actually the distributor gear, and I'll show you here. This is the first time this has ever happened to me. So, mind you, the motor in this car is a 383 stroker, and it's got AFR, I can't remember if they're 190 or 210 heads on it. She runs good. I enjoy it. It's not the fastest thing in the world by any means. But, so we got the distributor gear off the billet MSD, and it completely ate the gears away. Like, they didn't snap off, they just slowly started wearing down on it until it slipped and we had no more timing. So that was extremely weird on that. So we put the bore scope down there. I checked out the back of the cam. That was fine. So I took the old gear off my other distributor because it only had 800 miles on it. And it had a little wear, but not as much as this one. So kind of what that was telling me, this thing has a hardened camshaft in it, and you're supposed to use a certain type of distributor gear for that cam. Now they have steel gears, which that's what this one is. They have bronze gears and they have melanized gears. I believe that's how you, melon gear, something like that. But anyways, you're supposed to use certain gears for certain camshafts. Some people say that they use the bronze gear in race applications and they just switch them out every 6 months to a year, depending on their application, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, let's get the new gear. So I bought that melanized one, or I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I mean, I'm just gonna say melon gear, and hopefully you know what I'm saying here. But I ordered one of those from Summit. Super easy, basically just has a roll pin. You punch it out, slide the new gear on, put the roll pin back in. Easy as that. So we threw that back in. Car's running awesome again. I'll go ahead and fire it up and give you guys a quick little clip of that so you can see this project. This is my favorite one. I'd like to put it on the channel more, but I really don't know what else I could do with it. It needs body work, needs interior, needs the frame blasting, cleaned up, you know, just kind of some boring stuff. I don't have too much crazy exciting plans for it. I do want to put nitrous on it hopefully before fall sets in, so maybe we can do a video on that. Take it to the drag strip and go have some fun with it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and give you a little sound clip of this mean machine. Car. It's got 3-inch exhaust with, I believe, hooker mufflers on it, side pipes coming out right in front of the back tires. I love it. So there you have it. That's kind of been my dream car my whole life, and I've slowly been working on that thing over the last 2 years, and just a decent car. I'd love to put AC on it for when I take the family out, just make it a little better for the kid and stuff. I don't need it. I'll suffer through the heat. Anyways, that's that car. We got that going this week, and also the very first videos that started out on my channel were of my '76 Camaro that I LS swapped over this last winter. Got it running. It would like run perfect for 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden it'd start acting up and want to die on you, and I could not figure it out. I spent countless hours on HB tuners. I was doing the tune myself, trying to figure it out. Turns out I put a fuel pressure gauge on it. Boom, pegged out the fuel pressure gauge to 100. Now, like actually 120 to be exact. And so clearly that was a huge issue. These LS motors should have 50 to 60 PSI at the rail, and I was having way too much. And I have a Holley pump on this, an external, with a filter / regulator at the tank, and then also it's still got the stock regulator on the fuel rail. And it was blowing by right both of those. I'm like, there's no way that pump is putting out, because it's literally a stock pump. There's just no way that pump's producing too much. I thought maybe the pump was heating up, it was bad out of the box, and I just couldn't get myself to buy a new one just yet because I want to do a little bit more research. Basically, the tank has its pickup that's, you know, screwed in the top of the tank, and it has the factory metal lines that come out, and then they go over the rear axle, and that's where I connected to. Hence what I'm about to say. So I connected to those lines, and it was like it wasn't regulating returning fuel. So what I did is I pulled the fuel line off the return back at the tank, put it in a gas can, boom, car's reading about 45 PSI at the rail. So I adjusted my aeromotive regulator up here to 58, 60. Car's run perfect. And I'm like, our return line's plugged at the tank. So I started tracing the line up over the rear axle, boom, small little rubber hose tucked up in the very top where I couldn't see with a bolt in it. Pulled the bolt out, put a new hose to connect the line, the rest of the line that went up into the tank, and started leaking in like 8 different spots. I'm like, that's why they plugged it, because it was leaking everywhere, rotted out, whatever. So I cut it off near the top where it wasn't leaking, ran the rubber line up to it, car's running awesome. So it's definitely extremely obnoxious with those bullet mufflers. I was smart when I did that exhaust. I did 3 sections with V-bands, so it's super easy to take out a section specifically with the mufflers, because I knew they were gonna be obnoxious, but we might go ahead and throw a different set of those, quiet it down, if we do decide to go on a cruise or something. I don't know. So, for the main event today's video, I was just getting ready to pull that motor and get the big block in. All this week I've basically just compiling a parts list that I need so we can meet our deadline of August 6th on this thing to go truck pulling. So, as you saw, we got the axles, we got the motor runs. We need to pull this motor, get the new one in, put the transfer case in, pull our measurements, get the drive shafts made, put the axles on, because these half-ton axles, glorified half-ton axles, just, they're not gonna do the job. And so we got a lot of work, and also the steering, that issue. Basically, we're taking off the old gearbox. I'm running a Ford 4x4 gearbox where I'm gonna mount it down lower to help our angle, doing high lift steering on the Dana 60, and that should help us quite a bit and actually get the steering back, so when we turn right, it actually goes right. But so I was just getting ready to pull that, and I got the call, and my buddy said, "Hey, I got a car for you if you want to run it over." And I'm like, "Yeah, bring it on by." So we got this little Dodge Neon that it's going to the scrapyard. I told him to drop it off before he takes it there. Am I gonna be able to run it over with that 307 and 2-wheel drive? Probably not, but you know, we hit it fast enough, we might be able to make something happen. So now I'm gonna go ahead. The car doesn't run and drive, motor's screwed up, broke timing belt, whatnot, so it's just not even worth anything. So we're gonna put some tape on the windows. I might try and break them, smash them in, because I don't want glass in my driveway, obviously. Get the windows knocked out of it, and then my kind of game plan for this car, because without 4-wheel drive, I don't think I'm just gonna be able to hit it in the side and, you know, go up and over it. So I'm thinking this front end's looking pretty nice. I think if we just bounce that tire up on there, we can drive over it lengthwise, get that top crushed down, then we can drive over it sideways. Theoretically. Now, is that possible? I think it'll do it, you know. If anything, it's probably gonna break something on the front end. I'm praying that the welds are good enough for who built it, so that way we don't snap the whole leaf spring off or something like that. But I think it'll be just fine. Can't say I've ever had to break glass out of a car. You'd think for me, I would have participated in a derby or some sort of race, but never have. Well, I found my smallest hammer. See how good this will go. Well, that should be good enough. Alright, we let the air out of the tires, put blocks on all four. Let's see if we can do it again. Well, she couldn't quite do it, but we're gonna get the new big block in, get the four-wheel drive in, and get the new axles in, so hopefully we get something. Gotta say, I was pretty determined. I thought I was gonna run it over, but didn't happen, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and get the upgrades done. Gonna be a busy couple weeks. We'll see you guys next week.